Okay. It turns out that I can't fly. Yes, human beings cannot fly. I've realized that wings are an important aspect of flight. How did I find this out? Well, I just attempted to fly through the window of a 20-foot building. Stupid, I know. I'm surprised that I'm still alive. But you know who can fly? The star of the film that I'm going to review today. His name is Valiant. No, he's not a superhero. He's not a plane. He's not an eagle. He's a pigeon!
Valiant is a British-American animated comedy adventure set during World War II. It follows a little pigeon called Valiant, who joins a military pigeon squad with his disease-ridden friend Bugsy. His mission is to retrieve an important message, but opposing his task is a squad of Vulcans, led by the sinister Von Talon. Most of this movie is so boring to me. Boring plotting, boring pacing, boring characters, and most of the jokes are painfully unfunny. The first half of the movie is stretched out for far too long, leaving us with little conflict, drama, or adventure for most of the running time. For a majority of the first act, we're stuck watching these mundane and annoying pigeons as they goof about in their military training. These training scenes are far from funny and become a tiresome snooze fest after the first few minutes. They're made up of contrived, underwritten slapstick and dull as dishwater dialogue. Sure, the first act does sometimes cut to what the villain is up to, which is nothing. He's just bickering with a prisoner, and it's so unexciting because of the weak tension and plain as sandpaper characters that rarely ever shut up. Things only get interesting when our feathered protagonists meet a group of French mice that are leading a resistance. It's from here that we finally get some conflict, adventure, a new setting, and the mice happen to be the most redeeming aspect of the movie. The mice are likable, practical, charismatic, and in my opinion, should have been the main focus of the whole movie. They come across as cool, funny, and appealing. Screw Valiant any squad, these mice are awesome. Unfortunately, their appearance is only a brief cameo. As soon as the mice leave, we're stuck with the aggravating pigeons again for the rest of the movie. We're then presented with a disappointing and unrewarding final climax. I won't give away how it all ends, but let's just say that the finale lacks the drama or action needed to be effectively conclusive. I mean, there's nothing impressive, theatrical, or amazing about how the heroes settle things with the Vulcans. It ends with a whimper rather than a bang. As a whole, the movie isn't anything outstanding. Most of the comedy fails miserably because the humor is limited to forced slapstick that's difficult to find funny, and the written jokes are milked dry to the point of becoming embarrassing. The drama fails because the main characters are forgettable and far from likable. The adventure aspect fails because conflicts are paper thin, limited, or too brief, and not many settings are explored. So I didn't feel wowed or blown away by anything that this feature had to offer. While he has a strong spirit, Valiant comes across as obnoxiously overconfident and tediously boring. I mean, he's just so plain and dull. He has no interesting character faults or personality traits. And no, being short is not an interesting character fault. It's just a physical disadvantage. Valiant is too friendly and too pleasant. He's a bit of a cheese and has no quirks to give his personality an edge. Everyone has a dark side, including you and me. And when a character doesn't show his faults or flaws, then he comes across as dull. Bugsy is a charmless, pessimistic, and arrogant character. He's supposed to be funny, but he comes across as an irritating and rude chatterbox. I really didn't care about him and couldn't tolerate his screen presence. Sure, he develops a sense of selflessness by the end of the movie, but he still remains excruciatingly irritating as a character because he won't keep his beak shut half of the time and he never says anything funny. Then there's Valiant Squad, Squad F, who are so underdeveloped that half of the time I forgot that they were even in the movie. There's nothing memorable or fun about any of them. I didn't grow to admire or love them because I didn't get to know their reasons for joining the squad, and I didn't get to know them as characters. The film's villain, Von Talon, certainly comes across as threatening, but his lack of character development makes him forgettable. I mean, we don't know the reasons for his villainy, we aren't introduced to his origins or personal motives, and there are no layers to his personality. Like the movie's hero, he's just plain. There's nothing to him. It takes more than just a scary face or a creepy voice to make a villain awesome. A villain needs depth to help us understand his actions or sympathize with his motivations. The character animation is expressive, fluid, and emotive, but it doesn't really matter when what's being animated is so unengaging. While the film's writing is unimpressive, I can't deny the star power of Valiant's voice cast. Seriously, the movie is packed with some of the most talented British actors that my country has to offer. There's Hugh McGregor, Jim Broadbent, Tim Curry, Ricky Gervais, John Cleese, John Hurt, Hugh Laurie, Rick Mayall, and many others. But these wonderful people are wasted in their roles because the material they're given is so rubbish. I don't really have an opinion on the music, if I'm honest. It's just your typical average orchestral score. It's just there. It exists. It doesn't have the flavour or punch needed to capture my ear's attention. To conclude, Valiant is a forgettable and bland movie with unappealing characters, an underdeveloped villain, and dozens of failed jokes. It lacks anything memorable or exciting. Its only redeeming factors are its animation, top-notch British cast, and the cameo from the mice. Feel free to check it out for its celebrity voices or above-average CGI animation, but you may find it just as boring as I did. I give it 2 winged stars out of 5.